Yes, man! What the rock?
Oh, recording live from 2. Count them 2 locations.
Wait, don't worry. The visual cues are there.
Okay.
Well, the visual cues were there because you waited on the intro. You have wait. So the visual cues are there. If you're a listening audience, then Struggle Bus is real.
I am Patrick, and this week I am only joined by one great man. That is Jacob, a.k.a. Bethke.
We pump faked LCs, but don't worry. He's freeing up his schedule.
He's in the lab right now working on something good. So
yeah, he's coming back bigger, better, and stronger than ever.
I'm excited for that. I was happy to see some of the things that are coming there. Obviously, lots to get into.
We're honestly kind of kicking it off because there's kind of a tag team here. That's a tease.
Tag team back again.
It's a very vague tease that could be interpreted in many ways.
So yeah, we got a lot to cover this week. Obviously, mostly going to be NBA playoff talk.
Which, as we joked before, is got to be the first time that 2 men in Rangers jerseys have ever spoken this long about the NBA.
About the NBA.
The WNBA.
And definitely not even mentioning probably the team that is in our area.
Yeah, definitely not enough there. No, yeah, that's what we should do. She's like, basketball just ain't been Rice and Dirk left, to be honest with you.
Yeah.
To be real honest with you.
I really like that Donnie Nelson.
I liked him. We call him Double N. I like that. That's fun. But yeah, that's true. We won't be talking about the Mavericks. Well, we did, but that'll be it. Wings, Dallas Wings.
That's true. Some other things we'll be talking about.
What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz? Tell me what's happening. What's the buzz?
So the problem is if I try to talk over that, it gets all weird and choppy. So I just kind of have to let it play without us saying anything. So we're gonna start.
Okay.
We're gonna start with the one piece of good news that I have for the week before we get into some really gross, sad, just mostly sad stuff.
Yeah.
Because there was some sad stuff that happened this week.
What was it?
Good news. Football is life. Cristo Fernandez. No way I pronounced that exactly right. Mexican soccer player, one of the stars of Ted Lasso, has just signed with El Paso FC in the USL, which is the second tier soccer league in our country. He's from Guadalajara, and I know he played college up there. Now he's been an actor. He was in Ted Lasso. He shows up in the post-credit scene of that, whatever the last Venom was. He's a great actor, funny guy. So I brought you this little clip.
They did a new kid. Wasn't Danny what?
Rojas.
Rojas, yeah.
Danny Rojas. Danny Rojas. Hey. Hello, coaches. Thank you for the opportunity.
You are a spirited fella, Danny. Go on out there and get the striker spot for us, okay?
Yes. Just like back in Guadalajara. You say it, I do it, coach. Football is life.
Did you see that? I can't really tell, but it seems like he's very good. Cheers again.
Nice. I've still yet to see Ted Lasso, but I will.
I would just recommend the first season to you. You can go ahead and watch 2 and 3. They're not near as fun or as good.
It's unfortunate because aren't they spinning it off once again?
Well, yeah, they're coming back as him now coaching the women's team that they just bought. So they're going to basically read, obviously all the men's. Some of them will probably come back here and there, but they're at least change it. They're doing like when House fired his original team and then brought in all those new people.
I didn't think about how well those people as like a staff of writers put them in a position to just sort of remove characters and bring them on. Yeah. Loki, kind of one of the smartest I think I've ever seen. Yeah, it's a little annoying.
So many episodes,
and that show also, that show had the unfortunate nature of being on like one of those networks that's going to squeeze every drop out.
Fox.
So yeah, I mean, it's not just Fox in that capacity. Like a lot of those shows, they just go, beat that shit to death. You know, they don't know how to let something run for 4 seasons if that's all it needs to run. You know what I mean?
Well, I mean, yeah, it's changing. Obviously, there are things like all the basically any streamer at least gives you the where'd it go? Oh well, I guess I don't have it. Gives you the opportunity to do a miniseries and crap like that, which
True, and miniseries is fine. What we need those streamers is a fucking shuffle button on comedies. Anyway, and like action and like cartoons, like stuff that like doesn't need to be linear, like how we kind of watched it growing up in a lot of ways too.
you know, I never use the shuffle button when I'm listening to music, so I don't think I'd want it.
That feels like there is either the most tedious playlist that has ever been put together.
They're not playlists.
So you just only album.
I mean, I might open up an album, pick one song out of it. You know what? I don't build a playlist. I'll just add to a queue.
Oh, so you're a manual DJ.
About 10% of the time. 90% of the time, it's just album.
Yeah, that's fair. No, I obviously like I kind of lean on shuffle a lot, and it makes Apple's AI DJ really mad, and so I had to turn it off.
Oh yeah, I've also pretty much there was a period of time like 2009, 10. I felt like when Pandora actually could put together a good radio station for me. But since that died, I don't know that any of these streamers have ever done a good job because these algorithms aren't designed for you to enjoy it.
No, I've always been too hands on with it.
Too finicky or picky about your music, then maybe they're doing a great job.
Yeah, no, I think they try really hard. I actually don't think algorithms could handle what I give them, and I think that's a fair thing. It doesn't have logical sense. It's very deep and it's very niche into random
my mood to YouTube music.
Well, it's just different avenues, and I've just listened to a lot of things at this
More
point.
nuanced than happy and energetic.
Yeah, and especially like honestly, right now I'm shuffling through like everything, which is more songs than I want to admit, and it is absolutely maniacal the kind of transitions that I get in my playlist. But well, we've stalled long enough.
Yeah,
There's bad stuff to get to.
there is some bad stuff to get to, and we will. I'm gonna have to let you handle a lot of this because you know way more about it.
I mean, I know as much as most people, but yes, I do. I have more familiarity with these two gentlemen.
Names that I have.
Yeah.
So we lost 2 former NBA players this week.
Well, one was a current and active NBA player.
Yeah,
The other one would have been a former player. Yeah.
Or not even probably, definitely the more shocking one.
Yeah. I mean, one of them had been doing like ESPN stuff. I personally actually was pretty in the dark on it, but ESPN apparently had done an interview not that long ago. But we'll start with Brandon Clark. This one is pretty dark and potentially.
I was trying to get rid of that one. I was trying to get rid of this one.
Oh, incredible timing.
Get it out.
No, don't worry. So Brandon Clark passed away Tuesday. I think it was Tuesday.
Heard about it on Tuesday.
I think we heard about Tuesday. Then it was probably Monday when it actually happened.
Yeah, confirmation.
Could have been in the wee hours, but there were tweets about it, like people suggesting it happened fairly early into the day at least. But maybe, so you would think maybe the night before, whatever. Of an overdose. As TMZ has reported, I don't know if anything else is seen.
Well, yeah, other people have said it, but I think they're going off TMZ's reporting, which is the most solid that there is in this country. So
true, and I guess for all our purposes is we just need to say as TMZ has said.
But I believe that, I don't know if it's been updated, but they were saying that it was being investigated as an overdose.
Yeah, I would imagine. There's a lot to unpack with that. So to give him his due, Brandon Clark played at Gonzaga, was pretty good. Did Gonzaga? I don't think Gonzaga won a championship with him there. I don't think Gonzaga's won a championship, right?
Probably not.
Either way.
No, I'm sorry. Keep going.
Either way, so really talented, stretch big-ish. I think that there is some reality that he didn't quite live up to some of those like ideals of him, but he had really carved himself out to be a really good role player. At his best, was a 6-man candidate, good energy rebounder off the bench.
And this is all rookie first team.
Yeah, they were. Yeah, that's true. Brandon Clark's did come on really hot with it. The Grizzlies were also pretty like, this is before Jaren Jackson. Does he come in? Where is he at with the Jaren Jackson timeline? I feel like
did in 2019 first round 21st pick.
And I think that's after Jackson. I think Jackson's 18. I think he was a part of the Luka draft. So yeah, I mean, the Grizzlies were kind of building on something. Eventually, they get John Morant, and that would get really good for a bit. Brandon Clark has spent most of the last 2 seasons, if not 3 by now, injured.
Yeah, and I think that was a big part of why we're not seeing. He hadn't had a chance to really live up to the.
Yeah, no, I mean, this was a very coveted player at one point because
years ago when he came in. Damn.
Yeah, I mean, and there was a lot of positive. Always has been a positive.
This is about he. When they beat Baylor in the tournament, he became the 3rd player ever in the tournament game to have 35 points and 5 blocks, joining Shaq and David Robinson. Now that's who you want to be joined with.
Yes, and honestly, I think it shows you a lot of scouting too when it looks at guys like Brandon Clark, where you're like, oh my God, this guy is a monster at this level. I don't know what his exact use is at the NBA level, but I trust it. Just throw it out there.
Yeah, I bet we could get at least 5 to 15 good minutes of him a night.
Yeah, and really that's what his career was looking like. And then, like I said, injuries have just been a big part of the last few years. And I guess that's where it raised concerns to me. And I just want to say before I say any of this, it's all speculation. I'm not accusing the Grizzlies of anything. In fact, if anything, I'm more looking at the Lakers, the Mavericks. Hey, we didn't talk about the Mavericks. The way that we know that Lamar Odom was sort of going through his thing.
I need to send you that. the guy who found him at the known as Richard Big Dig Hunter. He used to have a show on the ticket called like Big Hunter's Wild Ass Circus or something like that. But he ended up going and working at the Bunny Ranch. He's already found Lamar Odom and basically, saved his life. I send you that interview they did with him. That was pretty fun. I mean, sorry, fun is not the right word. It was interesting.
Yeah, I mean, there's been a lot about Lamar's story that's been popular. I mean, he just had a successful Netflix program that they put out. And my wife did not particularly like it. I didn't really choose to watch it, so I don't know what all was in it. I know enough about Lamar's life, and I feel shitty.
Kardashian.
Yeah, I mean, I honestly feel bad for that lady too, to some extent, because that's just not been.
Probably did not know what she was signing up for.
Yeah, I mean, that's truly been a nightmare situation. But what my point is to how it relates to Brandon Clark, and it also sort of relates to what the Dallas Cowboys just went through. And you think about what these players are going through. And then on top of it, for football, we worry about the concussive. We know that's a problem. For basketball, we have a different problem. And this is why a lot of basketball players get mighty pissy when people get mad or are being very derogatory towards Anthony Davis in particular, at least about the health, right? Anthony Davis definitely aggs on a lot of the shit. But when it comes to the health stuff, I think there are a lot of basketball players who take that personally because, like we saw with there was a football player not that long ago, right, that killed himself.
Or the Cowboy?
No, another one. Remember he was a returner or something like that. He was a receiver that he had been injured and basically on IR for a year or so, and kind of started spiraling because his career prospects weren't, going the way that Rondell Moore.
Oh, right.
And so, this is just a real part of it. And I get that being an athlete is awesome and money and women and blah, blah. Like, I get all of that bullshit.
There's going to be the same percentage of people with mental health issues there than there are in the general population. So it's going to be there no matter how much money they have.
Yeah, and when I look at when I immediately start to think at the organization, I don't mean to again pick on the Memphis Grizzlies, who have kind of been in the crosshairs a lot recently. But it's really just more of, I think we have to hold employers accountable to some extent. Like if your friend is coked up at work and acting a fool, like no one cares. I get that, and I understand addiction's a part of life in a lot of ways, other than silly things like coke, or silly to some extent. But you know what I'm saying. This was kratom, apparently, right?
I still don't actually know what the hell that is.
Which is very legal and very.
They're still advertising it outside of Texas Live.
Well, you would also argue that kratom may be doing quite well for itself since the Texas regulations have changed once again on the hemp.
I thought that there were parts, maybe there were just parts of the country where they have it banned.
So, and this is gas station stuff. Gas station crap has been actually, unfortunately, fairly popular with all the social media trends. Kids started learning how quick and easy it was to get fucked up. And naturally, we all know, we've all been kids. Like that is just naturally sort of what happens to adolescents, unfortunately. So I don't know. I just think for a public facing organization and company like the Memphis Grizzlies or any other professional sports team, there is a emphasis a little bit. Like it sucks because in one way you don't want to force someone to go to rehab, and there's this whole image issue and there's all of this. But at the same time, is there a part where you're like in Brandon Clark's case, I guess in specific, I worry that this had been a prolonged issue because of how long the injuries had been a part of this. And I'm glad that the Grizzlies were through with him through all of this. They hadn't cut him. They've really been very from what I can tell from the outside, they've been very good about not cutting bait with the player in person, who I think is very well liked in the locker room and whatnot. But he just was arrested not that long ago, and I'm assuming with something similar to this. And it's just one of those things where even if it is the simple stuff like drinking and partying or whatever it is. Even like LaMelo driving around like a fucking idiot. Like you have to feel like there's some responsibility there to not just look at that asset as, all right, well, as long as it's protected and safe, I don't really care. Like there's some social responsibility here that I think it's really unfortunate that a lot of these teams and leagues, and I do think leagues also should be heavily talked about in this context, they just don't have the spine to step in front of. And I think honestly, the funny part is if they stepped in front of these things better, it feels like we wouldn't have such a negative connotation of addiction or of these guys having mental issues. Like it feels like this would be less of a negative if it wasn't always under lock and key until we get to moments like this or someone gets arrested or whatever it is. So that one's very sad.
Sorry, I'm trying to learn more about kratom, and I'm still confused. But
I wouldn't.
I've not seen it on shelves for a long time. I assumed it was like a fake weed thing, but it's not really that.
No. So yeah, kratom's not great business.
Kind of like an opioid.
Yeah, it is being compared to heroin.
A plant from Southeast Asia.
Yes,
I think part of the, like with anything, is there's people cut it, like there are places where it's being cut with other stuff because it's not FDA regulated.
Essentially, yeah. So that one's very sad, very unexpected, very, very unexpected. And I don't know. If I'm being a little pessimistic, this is usually how it goes. Is this story comes and goes. The Grizzlies will do a patch next year. They'll honor the NBA will honor him probably at the draft or something, and they'll move on. But then, if there is anything sinister by it, or anything more that I feel like the public deserves to know, then
Pablo,
I feel like, but Pablo, I wonder even if he has too many big fish to fry. But yeah, I agree. Probably Pablo.
We have so much information they can give at one time.
Yeah, and so I think that I hope that this was an unfortunate situation only, and that it wasn't preventable to some extent, as much as reasonably can.
Guys are going to do what they're going to do.
And I agree with that. That's why I said, like, I'm not trying to be that hard. I'm just also saying that I don't want us to use that excuse to ignore a long history of how much these leagues and teams have ignored clearly destructive behavior from their employees.
Actually, I just don't know what the option, what kind of step in do you even get to have?
And I also agree and
think about that, I guess.
Especially with the Kratom thing. I don't know. I mean, honestly, you're right. There isn't a lot of incentive or path. And that's why I also said the leagues. The leagues make it hard and make it weird for them to really handle these situations. And you know, I've always thought the NBA does a really good job because I've seen their rookie symposiums. I've seen what they say. It's not Chris Carter, you need a fall guy.
Hey, but that's honestly like better advice than they were probably getting before that.
If you're an NFL player, that's still probably good advice. No offense to NFL players, you guys just make awful decisions more frequently than any other athlete by a mile. Yeah, but they also, it's like football players, if you take the college ones and the NFL ones, it's unfortunate, dude. It's just not good numbers. Like they are just by definition, like they fuck off way more than probably the other groups combined. Like
we don't hear about it as much with baseball players as we probably should.
Well, there's some big ones with baseball. Baseball's definitely got some big ones recently.
There.
I definitely agree with you, but then I still think the NBA has. I mean, Jackson Hayes is potentially going to make $15-20 million, and he had a really nasty DV situation.
Yeah, whatever the hell Josh Primo's up to.
Right. Well, that one is because he sucked. If he was still useful, he'd be in the league. So it's just one of those things where I do agree. I'm not saying everyone's perfect. It's just NFL dudes. Either way, rookie symposiums usually done fairly well because you're giving, especially at the NBA level, these kids are averaging like 19 when they come into your league.
That's true.
Like you got to be a little more responsible with them, and it's just one of those things. But you're right; it is also a hands tied thing, and I don't know what. Yeah, because they'd have to again. We don't either. It's more about the info. It's like if we have a whole lot of people admitting that there was a whole lot of people that knew about this, then I would say yes. At some point, you know, a team has to step in, right? Like if it's something that was kind of known, but not, you know, if the beat writers are shocked, if everyone's shocked, then that's fine and fair. It's just, I have a large skepticism to this because I understand how much these teams will milk the sacred cow. I mean, one of my favorite players of all time is always going to be Ezekiel Elliott, but imagine a Cowboys team where they actually make him act like a grown adult and what his career could have been.
Well, and this guy, Jake Kemp on the Dumb Zone always brings this up. He's like, if you make Dez less Dez, then he's not going to be Dez anymore. Like you're not going to get.
But that was Dez, and I agree with that statement for him.
For everybody.
Zeke was a lot. Zeke wasn't like he was having physical bad habits. That's what I meant. Physically, he wasn't keeping up with himself. Like I don't care about the rest of it. Physically, Zeke was not.
I just think
maintaining what he had to maintain.
He ran into the ground by the team and by Ohio State.
Right, and I understand the position's different, but at the same time, like we've seen Derrick Henry, we've seen some guys do this, and
some guys are built like that.
Like even if like you're Cooper Flag right now, like your mission is to model LeBron's career, but it's not in how you think it is. It's look at the health pattern, look at the way he was able to take care of the body,
on keeping yourself in tip-top shape.
Exactly. So anyway, long story short, rest in peace to Brandon Clark, and I hope that there is nothing more than just the unfortunate side effect of addiction here, and I think that Kratom needs to be discussed bipartisanly throughout our country in a way that is conducive to us not having more fucking opium addicts, which is just in America, we just have to have fucking opium.
Confusing. There's like some articles that say it's like people are using it as a way to not do opium.
Correct.
Like as a way to get off of it.
Which is also a product that we could already give them if we didn't have so many people who just thought drug addicts were all useless people.
Oh, right.
We already have methods of curing that problem, helping them with that. Unfortunately, most of these people reside in states where addiction is treated as a sinister thing instead of a human thing. And, you know, here we are, especially Tennessee, right? But to the other story, a guy who brought a lot of positivity to the world and broke a barrier, even if it's there's a little bit of weird history with it, you know. And then yeah, I mean, how much he broke the barrier. He did technically do it. I mean, he earned the right to say what he did and to be who he was to sports. Jason Collins passed away, had a severe form of cancer. I forgot which one it was, but you know, cancer's cancer. It's not great. Had been coming for a little while. I believe it was about a year or two. He was dealing with that. But he became the first openly gay man in the American Big Four.
That was post his career, though, right?
I don't remember. Can you look up the dates on that?
Came out.
He was in because they did. There is a clip of him coming into a game and them announcing it. But it was the last year of his career, I believe. If I remember correctly, he was with the Brooklyn Nets now. As an NBA player, he was very good. He was a
2013 issue of SI.
Yeah, and his last year would have been with the Nets.
With the Nets, yeah, okay.
So it was his last year. He went back to Brooklyn. He's definitely at the end of his career. Brooklyn's, I think, I don't remember. I think that's them putting together the old man team.
Kids, the coach.
Yeah, they're putting together the old man Kevin Garnett, Paul Pierce group.
Yeah.
And so he played with them, and before that, Jason Kidd was his teammate, and they lost to your Spurs in the 2003 finals. He actually was a starting center in that.
Really the only reason I knew who he was because of that.
Yeah, and you know, you could poo-poo some of like Michael Sam got poo-pooed quite a bit, right? Because he wasn't really.
That one's still so confusing. How do you go from actually winning SEC Defensive Player of the Year to just not being even usable?
There's a lot that I could unpack with that.
Yeah, like I don't know enough about what's going on.
I'm sure there was some stuff there, but it's probably decision making as much as anything too.
Enough, and they're gonna play him. I mean,
yeah. But so I don't know. Football's had a lot of offensive linemen who have come out post career. It's kind of been their thing. Either way, not to really worry about who's active and who's not. Charles Barkley kind of said some funny shit that went viral last night.
I thought he did really well with the clips I saw.
No, it was just funny because he was like, you know,
he was just like, if you don't think that there's
he was basically like, it's the same thing that Sue Bird and Megan Rapinoe said to Pablo on his show once, where it was just like, are you serious? The numbers are 100% not gay. Are you fucking serious right now? Like, of all of the leagues right now, there's not a single openly gay player. You know what I mean?
Talking about, you know, there's a percentage where that's going to always be the case in any population. It's just going to happen.
No, it's just obvious, and it's funny that, and like I said, that's where the legacy of Jason Collins is a little unfortunate.
Sorry, I hate to sidetrack it. Hilarious that there was like an era of this country where people didn't know Liberace was gay.
Yeah, no, there's a lot. I mean, like what we were kind of talking about with Elton John. That was a funny one where they were like, I like Elton John. He's kind of cool. He sings a little bit country, but he's kind of a city boy. It's okay. And all of a sudden, it's like, remember when the rock was young. Yeah, I think the world used to be. That's why you hear a lot of people now, like old people, will be like, "I like it when people kept it quiet." But anyway, Jason Collins did not do that, and I also thought there was a really great story PBS did last night, where LZ Granderson, you've probably seen. He's done Around the Horn many times. He's a sports columnist.
I don't think I've seen Around the Horn, and well, it doesn't exist anymore. But
yeah, whatever it was, LZ did a lot of episodes of that. He's also probably done plenty of ESPN stuff. It just depends on.
The other day, I'm pretty sure like the Decision was one of the last things I really watched on ESPN. Unless there's a game on, I haven't turned it on.
That's actually pretty incredible, but that's a conversation for a different day. Yeah, so LZ Granderson was actually a friend of Jason Collins, and since you don't know, he was also LZ Granderson's a very nationally known sports reporter
on the Sports Illustrated article, right? I think I just
probably yes, that's probably exactly who you have been working with. So one of the interesting stories that came out,
Franz Lids.
Okay, well they were friends either way. LZ was who told PBS this, that Jaron is his brother, his twin brother. Jason apparently had an uncle. Jaren and Jason had an uncle who came out as gay when they were younger. And I thought that was a notable little tidbit because, again, we're talking about Jason Collins in the year of 2013 being the first openly gay man in any of the 4 sports. And then we're talking about active player, I do believe is the yeah. And the world since then, again, we talked about, we had Michael Sam, we've had some other stuff, but now the closest thing you can get is like what, HBO fan fiction. You know, like I really don't care. Like, I'm not.
You had told me. I mean, I wouldn't have ever thought that would have ever happened. So we're finally at least to that point.
I'm not. Hey, I am a cis white male. I understand that it's okay to be that. I'm not judging. At the same time, I don't believe all of you. I don't believe all of you that you're cis straight men. Like all of you.
Well, I mean,
every one of you.
Dwight's been pretty open that he's open.
Yeah, Dwight recently though, but I think Dwight was really keeping that secret under wraps for his career.
Publicly, I would assume
attempting to. There was a lot of breadcrumbs. There's a lot of reckless breadcrumbs.
Like when they were talking about on Pablo that like player, you know, we were talking about this last week. The big name players already know where they're going when they sign the contract. Yeah. Like people know shit. They're just not brought up.
And I think that also kind of goes back to the Brandon Clark point, where there is a cloak of secrecy that these players live under, and necessarily to some extent when it comes to this. But it also is just, I think, hilarious to me that this is still an issue, and I do feel bad for the legacy of a great person like this, because
look, man, we're only starting to get the F slur out of like popular rap, so it's gonna take some time for the.
I get it. Do we have? The NFL has openly gay players now. Actually, I think they have an openly gay offensive lineman right now. I believe that's true.
I'm glad to know that I don't even know that happened, because that just means
that does. Yeah, that's a step. It's just hard to still look at the number, even if it's 99.1 now or 99.9.
Also, wait. You don't just have a bunch of people just walking out being like, I'm announcing I'm straight. So you're only hearing from the people who said anything about it. So the number isn't a number until someone's taking a poll and asking everybody.
True. So I guess what is the real meter here? Is it like, hey, whenever we do, we have the wives chats that we always hear about. Is it stuff like that gets leaked out and we start to see more normalcy? Like, instead of Brett Favre sending a pic, it's some other quarterback sending a pic or the Diana Rossini story. That's actually, a similar plot line in The Sopranos. Maybe it's like that. I don't know.
Well, we actually got Ted Lasso covered this as well with a gay player storyline, which is pretty good. And he just kind of comes to the conclusion of like, I don't want anyone to know, because like, who cares what they know,
It's not like the end of Almost Famous when they're on the plane about to die and the drummer's like, I'm gay.
Still never finished that movie. I think I tried to watch it once and fell asleep like 30 minutes in and just haven't gone back yet.
You don't like Cameron Crowe's whimsical journey through rock music history?
I don't know if I do or not. I fell asleep very early.
It's a really good movie. You should enjoy that. It's a nerdy movie where I think you watch it once, you're like, all right. And then you go and like learn some of the lore and you're like, watch it again. You're like, all right, that was kind of cool how you do all that. But anyway, rest in peace, Jason Collins. I don't know where we're going from this, because I'm
I guess that means that.
Oh, we're going into this. Well, what a weird time to throw the Rangers into the show.
Well, it's okay, because
we were very pro LGBTQ, always will be. Now we're going to go to the Chick-fil-A of sports teams.
I don't know. Did you hear that at all?
What?
Okay, good.
Oh. Did you hear what I said? Do you agree?
Something about Chick-fil-A.
Are we the Chick-fil-A of sports teams?
No, because there we go. We're not, because they're a lot more successful of an organization. We're probably
damn it. That's a fair point.
Look, things are looking better over the last week. a good series against the Yankees, a good series against the Cubs, where we shut out one of the hottest teams in baseball 2 games in a row, and a decent series against Arizona that just wrapped up. So we're playing pretty well.
Any of those sweeps?
No sweeps. No sweeps.
Did we sweep Arizona?
We swept the Cubs, didn't we?
Hmm.
Am I wrong? No, I think they took a game.
I think we swept the Diamondbacks.
We probably did. Of course
Yeah.
we did. Look, but no, the bullpens looked really good. I think they're technically, depending on what valuations you're looking at, the best, if not one of the best in the whole league. Which is hilarious because I went to the game where our starter goes 8 innings, only gives up 2 runs. Then a guy comes in and throws 15 balls in his first 17 pitches. That was rough.
Jesus fucking Christ.
Top of the 9th, we're all ready to just get out of there. This guy's like, no, we're slowing this whole thing down. But Josh Young looks awesome. He's been just killing the ball.
Yeah, I mean, it's been a blessing.
Duran's stepping up quite a bit. Seager is kind of like the what's going on here now guy.
Only because Wyatt's injured still.
That's man. I just don't know. I don't know if Wyatt or Evan Carter. I don't think I'll ever see a full season of either of those guys. So as long as they can just time their injuries to replace each other, then not an efficient use of money and roster space. But
yeah, that's fair. Maybe it's discounts in the long-term deals. How much is, and Corey's still got a few years.
Yeah, he's got to.
Yeah.
I mean, look, there were people saying you might be trying to trade him and DeGrom and Uvalde, but now things are starting to turn around again. So we'll see. The division's not very good, so we can still come back and win that pretty easily.
Well, that already tells you enough right there, is that they're not going to sell in a shitty division.
No, probably not, although I bet the team would like to get rid of some of those contracts if they could.
Yeah, but you can't, like, when you're the Rangers and you're already on life support for attention, especially in this city, I feel like you got to just, like, hope that the guys get hot and you can try to sell some people during a boring sports time.
I remember they even really make much from the gate at all, but
Well, I just mean not necessarily in arena. I just mean like in the general buzz, in the ethos of sports talk, in social media, and in the things that
Davis does not care about that.
No, I know he doesn't care, but I'm saying like if, as a team, like this is the line you actually walk with real people. I understand that people that work in the front office have their heads so far up their ass, and it's not just to the Rangers. This is everybody in every sports front office.
Yeah,
their heads are so far up their asses in their little clouds that they do kind of miss the obvious stuff, in my opinion.
They're just not fans. Cuban was a fan, and he got himself a little too involved, but at least you knew he cared.
Well, he also hired guys who like to watch porn in the office and then did not fire them, or
whom amongst us.
So I think there was some judge of character issues that got Cuban more than anything else. But ultimately, especially when he went to make a deal to sell the team. But either way, I don't know, man. I'm really excited for the Rangers and all, and I would like for them to not sell because I just don't see the point.
Still games to go, so you got a lot.
Yeah. Obviously, this season I'm patient. I'm happy that Josh Young doesn't have to just go away now. That felt like it was coming, and now it's gone. That's good. Duran is the new Josh Smith. We're happy for that. I'm good with that. I like Duran better a little bit. He just looks more like he can play baseball at a higher level than Josh Smith. No offense.
Probably racist, but go ahead.
No, they're physically much like there's a difference in human being here. Like Josh Smith kind of looks like a guy I would go have beers with or something. Like Josh Smith just looks like every guy at Bottle Blonde. You know what I mean? Yeah. Like, no offense to him, and it's not just because the whiteness. It's just like he is a very modest professional athlete in size and stature compared to a guy like Duran, who was, if I remember correctly, a fairly big prospect. And
he's also really good, kind of right behind Profar in terms of the next guy or whatever.
So, I mean, I'm really happy to have that.
Brandon Nimmo's been playing better. We just found out today he sprained his ankle, so he's day to day. Just because I love Osuna, but I don't like it when they put him anywhere but left field. He doesn't seem to. I just don't think maybe he just needs the reps. But center field, We lost the game to the Cubs because in one inning he took 2 really poor routes in center field.
Yeah, I know there was one game that was just shit.
With like the sun might have been messing with everybody there. But then also when I've seen him in right field a couple times, there's some it was really good in left field though.
Is the defense like bad, or has this just been unfortunate incidences?
I don't think they're bad.
Seems like I've seen more negative defensive plays from the Rangers this season alone than I have in maybe 2 decades prior.
No, we've definitely had worse defenses. Obviously, when Wash was here, they were just incredible. So that kind of gets you spoiled. You forget that baseball players make errors.
Yeah, honestly, I did. That was how I learned baseball, and I actually did take that for granted quite a bit. I did not realize until the Rangers became a 100 loss team again how bad baseball can be.
I don't really have too much else to say about it. I got to go to a game. It was pretty fun. I'm hoping to go to some more later on. And hopefully,
are they allowed to keep the name Globe Life even if the aerial shots? Are they going to blur it out if they're doing aerial shots of the World Cup match?
Oh, they won't be showing you anything on. You can go all the way around AT&T from a distance and not actually see what's going on over there. I think it's pretty.
I mean, yeah, but it's good. It's like that's a great like people want to look at Arlington and what it's become. Like put Six Flags in the shot.
They will only make the shot. Oh yeah, I guess they might. They'll probably just have to like digitally blur it or something.
Yeah, I wonder about that.
I hadn't thought about that.
This is Dallas Stadium opens next week or something like that.
Yeah, dude, I've never been less excited about a World Cup because I just don't even want to deal with all the nonsense around it. But once the games are actually happening, I'll tune in. That probably should have been on our What's the Buzz this week.
You did start with a football thing, kind of. The only negative thing I have to say with that is, did you see that they're painting over the mural of the whales downtown for some soccer guy?
Yeah. Instead of just draping something over it, which would have made it way more sense. Yes.
That makes me sad too, because there's actually a building about one lot over that usually is the one we do. And that was the first place that Luca ever got put up, was on the one next to that. And
everything about FIFA just sucks, except for watching the actual game.
And the city of Dallas downtown. Downtown Dallas is ran by people who don't give a shit about downtown Dallas.
That's just FIFA's whole bag.
No, it was two scumbags coming together and realizing that they could really do something shitty to the population and delivering. That's for sure. Because like downtown Dallas, God love it, it'll always be my home to some extent, but it is a place desperately lacking character and uniqueness. And that little painting mural that was all around the side of a building, it was like an ocean. It was done in 99. It was just got whales all over. It looks really nice. It's very unique. It's fairly visible. It's just incredible decision making. Well, at least we have the eyeball, I guess. Paint FIFA on the eyeball.
Make it look like the Palantir from the Lord of the Rings.
Yeah, exactly.
Everyone's in terror.
But yeah, that's it. That's all.
Bullshit. I think that means it's time to get to the main event of the week, which this week we're gonna use
Open.
Basketball, gimme the ball because I'm gonna basketball, gimme.
I lost the rock.
I figured we'd go ahead and start with the W just because they're fresh.
Just literally, maybe I think the Wings play tonight. They're 1-1.
Yeah.
So it just got started. Preseason's been on for a little bit, but just got started. Nothing too special to report. Toronto Tempo's jerseys do not look great on the basketball court. Looks a little rec team-ish. That being said, the Dallas Wings have really upgraded themselves in jersey, in my opinion.
I don't hate this.
It looks on the court. It's not. It just doesn't. There's a lot missing from what I want this to look like on the court. Okay. Aesthetically, it's not pleasing. Now go to the Wings, New Jersey.
Yeah, probably maybe shrink those white lines in like half.
Yeah.
Or something, make it more like, I don't know. Okay.
It doesn't look like a professional jersey. It looks like I bought that off of the Sports Gears website. The custom
Wings.
Dallas Wings have new jerseys. They're pretty decent. If you remember the Mavs graffiti jerseys,
the weird ass yellow.
Right, they're more neon. It's like a neon blue and green combination. I think this is a good look for what the audience is. This isn't exactly 1-to-1. Men very much dominate the audience of the big four. The W kind of occupies a different lane, especially with kids, I think. And I think this is a really good look. I think it's fresh, it's unique. Everything they've done before looks very like militaristic or very amateur. Like honestly, Toronto Tempo, don't feel bad. Dallas Wings first jerseys look so pathetic. Like pathetic. Either way, that's a thing. And then the final point of aesthetics that we need to bring up with the W. I need you to pull up the court for the Portland Fire.
That just sounds like a network drama.
Now, I need you to look up something that I feel bad for you for putting in your browser.
So real quick, I should have thought of this. When I just type in Portland Fire and go to images, it's just a lot of fires in Portland.
That makes sense. WNBA might need to be also in your keyword search. Fair enough.
Maybe stop naming your teams like they're little kid soccer teams. That's just all I'm going to say about it.
Yeah.
And the NBA does this too.
Well, at least there's history there. This was a recent decision made.
What about the court? What do you want me to look at?
You're looking at the court. Do you have the court pulled up?
I think so. It's like
okay.
Red, purple, and then blue on the other side.
And it's like a rose in the middle.
Okay, I couldn't really tell what was going on in the middle there.
Okay, now go to your other browser and type in rose sex toy. Because the Portland Fire have decided to put a adult toy as their logo.
Is it actually?
No, but
what they're actually doing?
I think that for it to be Portland and for it to be the W, where there's quite a bit of LGBTQ representation, this particular object is, from what I understand, a fairly popular one. So this is not necessarily, I think it's just an unfortunate situation, obviously.
Well, I don't understand what makes
it's the rose
EQ device instead of just a female device.
I mean, I guess you could do it if you want to do it however you want. It's just, I think, a very popular item with the ladies.
They got a lot going on. I like this one that's like looks like a flower with a tongue in the middle.
So yeah, you can see where a lot of fans were really roasting the Portland Fire to start this and with that court unveiling. Again, you just got to know your audience sometimes.
Magic City night in the NBA.
Well, but then you see the audience is general with the NBA, so they did have to kind of worry about it and clutch their pearls. But the W it was a happy accident. Anyway, that's it's too early to talk about who's good and bad. I mean, I hope the Wings are good. I have some interest in them.
What's the deal with are they just minute restricting
Fudd
Ozzy?
Fudd has an injury, I believe. Well, there's also the fact that Olivia Miles is playing really good so far, and that was sort of maybe more of the consensus number one. And that's why there was a little controversy to the pick.
As much.
So, well, that was why there was more controversy to the pick than just were these two dating and did they draft her because of that. It was actually because this Olivia Miles girl was sort of the same position, but has a more decorated career. And a lot of people were thinking, hey, this should be it. And honestly, after 2 games, it already seems like she's probably a heavy favorite for Rookie of the Year.
There were people who were trying to tell us Chet was going to be better than Wemby early into their first season.
True. And I mean, obviously got to let the other one play basketball. That matters. But
different situations also.
Yeah, and Chet Holmgren also, it's very similar because Chet Holmgren is nothing to scoff at. It's just there's levels to things, I guess, and for any other year, Chet Holmgren is the clear consensus number one kind of guy, and that guy you want. Yeah, W's been good. We got lottery, probably the next thing. NBA
lottery.
NBA lottery happened. Adam Silver's.
I had no idea they did that in the middle of the playoffs. I mean, I've seen it a bunch of times. I just didn't realize that's
in the video game. That's not how they do it. In the real life, that is how they do it.
Why.
In the real life, this is how it goes.
It would make sense to just wait and do it closer to the draft, but
no, they got to. Honestly, they really probably should set the order almost instantly with the season ending, to give people time to actually make decisions on what they're going to do with picks and trades. But I mean, they have time. I'm not saying it's bad. It's just if you're really like, that's the only motivation. You can't wait longer.
Yeah, if there's a chance you could either pick one or pick like 18, then that, I can see why.
Yeah, no, I mean, the Lakers got Anthony Davis out of a huge draft jump. Anyway, the lottery was interesting. Anthony Davis did play a big part of it. Turns out if you trade for Anthony Davis, you get the number one pick. The Washington Wizards have the number one pick, and they have a really interesting, and I mean that in every sense of the word, team going into next season. Even with some reports that Anthony Davis doesn't want to be a part of it, but we'll see.
To go back to this, but the Sparks are giving Lisa Leslie a statue.
Yeah, that's also cool. Good. I'm glad you saw that. Yeah, that's really cool. And there's a new Kobe statue up that's been put out recently. I think there's another one planned.
Ozzy Fudd is available tonight.
Nice, good.
If there's anything on the WNBA Reddit about the Portland court.
I think I've been seeing a lot of those on Twitter.
That checks out.
The Wizards are number one. The Jazz are number two. That's interesting because AJ DeBansa has played at BYU, moved to Utah prior to playing at BYU. So there is some interest in, or there's been some outside like fan talk about how interested the Jazz and AJ would be in him playing for Utah. There's also a conversation already leaked to the media, for whatever you want to believe, rumors that the Wizards will listen to trading down. That's fair because this draft class has a foursome at top that really feels like four guys it's hard to choose between.
Well, yeah, I mean, unless there's a consensus number one, then you absolutely trade back.
AJ DeBansa is probably consensus number one overall.
However many people you're happy with, you should be willing to trade all the way down.
I think basically the argument is AJ DeBansa is definitely the most talented player in this draft. But if Utah wants him that bad, I would happily take one of the three other kids I'm going to have choice of, you know?
Yeah.
I think that's the logic, and it's good logic, I think, in this draft. The Grizzlies are at 3. That was a big jump for them. The Bulls are at 4. A lot of positive things about the Bulls this offseason so far. That's a big help. Clippers, the 5th pick. For now, will Pablo have something to say about whether the Clippers keep this pick? I don't know. Was the Ivica Zubac trade worth it? That part doesn't feel great because Tyrese Halliburton is struggling to come back from his injury due to some very unfortunate circumstances. So I do worry a lot about what the Pacers did there. But giving the Clippers the 5th pick, you got to give the Clippers a little credit for trying to rebuild whatever the post-Kawhi basketball looks like while Kawhi's still on your roster. The Brooklyn Nets at 6, the Sacramento Kings at 7, the Atlanta Hawks at 8, and the Dallas Mavericks at 9. We were going to talk about the Mavericks all along, and I forgot. Because this is unfortunate, but I think the hand of God was laid down. Adam Silver said, guys, I can only do so much. The 9th pick is still solid for the Mavs, from what I understand. I haven't finished my look at the lottery, the lottery rumored guys at this point, which is what I usually do. But it seems like people are really happy with the first 10 picks at this draft. And that 8 guys are really, really, really out of that 10 kind of looking like guys that everyone's interested in. So for the Mavs, you're looking at either finding a way to use some other assets to move up, or just hoping one single team makes a bold choice, and then one of those top 8 guys ends up in your lap. Ultimately, though, with the Mavs, I think this pick is more about finding someone that they believe has a very high long-term upside, since Kyrie Irving will be back, since they can still invest in a veteran team if they so choose, since they can't really tank moving forward. But we'll see. Milwaukee Bucks, there was a lot of conversation about the Bucks are going to tank and they're going to get a great pick and it's going to keep Giannis around. Well, they got the 10th pick, so I don't know if that's going to do all that. But 10th pick isn't nothing. We'll see what they do with it. Warriors are at 11. It's kind of similar, where you have Curry at the end of it. Do you really want a young kid, especially at 11? That's not going to probably change much of your future. We'll see. Believe it or fucking not, the Oklahoma City Thunder have the 12th pick. Could have been worse, I suppose, but the Oklahoma City Thunder do have the 12th pick, thanks to Los Angeles Clippers.
Is the Clippers picking 5 with the Pacers pick? Is that like from all the way back to the original Paul George trade?
No.
Okay, I was like, is he affecting both of these picks?
No, because Paul George would have went Indiana, Oklahoma City, LA.
Oh, duh. Okay, sorry.
But no, this is them trading Ivica Zubac for the 5th overall pick, essentially, is what the Pacers did. Very interesting choice. Ivica Zubac once got traded for Mike Muscala straight up.
And now he's worth the 5th pick in the draft.
You describe one identifiable trait about Mike Muscala.
I've never heard that name in my life.
There you go. So that's unfortunate. Also a very big dig at Lakers fans. You got to know with that one. Miami Heat 13, Charlotte Hornets 14. Interesting lottery stuff.
Also a kid soccer team name. Continue.
Right, and that was the 90s, so you can feel that way. Magic, there were some funny ones, but that's it for the lottery. Any notes that you thought were most interesting? Like I said, it was the Wizards being number 1. I thought was like Adam being like, "Look, guys, the tanking is about to change. This is your last lifeline. I'm giving it to you, Washington, my most incompetent son."
They could potentially, if health-wise things, they could potentially be a top 4 seed in the East if they get a good first pick and they're all healthy all year.
It especially, I know you don't know about the draft, but Cam Boozer, Carlos Boozer's son.
That's the only name I've heard outside of the Mormon kid. I don't know if that kid's actually Mormon. I just know he plays at BYU.
He plays at BYU. Debansa is a very talented player. Like his physical build is enough, right? I think he just set the record for the high mark jumping at the combine. He could be a superstar. That's why he's probably number 1. Cam Boozer might just be your 2B or your 1B or your 2A or whatever you want to look at it as.
Brunson.
But when you're talking about what the Wizards currently have, kind of like that. I mean,
I don't think there's any bad pick for the Wizards pretty much ever in their career or their franchise history. I think there's always been at least one player they could use.
Well, that's true. And they've actually, unfortunately, drafted pretty talented players. They are just a clusterfuck of an organization.
Well, I don't know if I want to go as far. I guess John Wall was their best player ever, but
John Wall was who actually was there to be awarded the number 1 pick.
Gilbert Arenas was an incredibly talented basketball player, but
yeah, I mean, it does stem from even the Gilbert days where that was a very unserious but very talented team, and you would probably know why the Wizards didn't achieve more in that time because they were just very unserious.
It was LeBron.
That too, but they were also so unserious. Like they could have competed more than they did.
A flash in the pan versus like Toronto or Boston, who could hang around.
Yeah, they could have at least been more notable for sure. That's it with that. We'll go to the playoffs now. We are in the second round. We do usually start this with those that have left us. We have had 2 franchises leave us this season. This have exited the villa, to quote my wife's favorite shows. The 76ers were the bounced first. New York handled business very impressive.
And they're about to have over a full week off. And I was looking at the NHL playoffs, and they scheduled their stuff so poorly in the East that Carolina swept their series before the other series had even played Game 3.
That's not
Those
great.
guys might get 2 full weeks off, which I don't even know if that's good. I think in hockey that's probably better than in other sports.
Yeah,
just to get rested up. But
with New York, this was the first time that we felt like this was the image of New York that we kind of have been theorizing here since they put this roster together. So that's nice. Philadelphia had flaws and injuries, and obviously those matter. But this was a very impressive put our foot down on the necks and stomp out an opponent. Like truly an impressive one.
for me, one of the most impressive things about it is that they just masterfully kind of just pushed Brunson back to a different role and made it work and never looked like they were in any real trouble.
And I think he has to be the guy because he is sort of their one, but he is a weird one because there's going to be times where Carl needs to be better, where OG's going to have to be the guy, where Mikel's going to have to be the guy. It's a one.
You know what they could use is a Luka Doncic. Can you imagine a Jalen Brunson and a Luka Doncic together at the same time?
Yes, but that's actually why the Mavs should not have done that. I disagree on those because if I'm in the, because Patrick, you're thinking about how many, I want as many good players on a basketball team as possible. I want the best 5 in the NBA because when the game is over or is in the minutes, I can only play 5 guys and they need to be on the court together. And Brunson and Luka were never fit to truly occupy those roles in an elite way because they are so similar into what they bring to basketball. And you almost you demote one unnecessarily attempting to do that.
The Spurs handling of Manu Ginobili shows me that it can be done. You could take a guy who should
but that's different. That's
take a guy who should be out there all the time and say you're running these minutes and he's running these minutes.
Yeah, no, that's different too. They also had to mask the fact that their point guard was overrated as fuck. What? It's true. Like I don't give a shit. Go show the future generations Tony Parker, and I promise you, they're gonna be like, okay, yeah, this guy's pretty solid. That's good. Yeah, he's a decent guy. They're like, wait, he's in the Hall of Fame?
Well, yeah, he got us Wemby.
That's true though. No, he has done a lot for the world of basketball. I agree with that. I won't shit on him for his works. He's still a great career. I'm just saying, like
when I was growing up, I wanted to be Tim Duncan, and then I wanted to be Ginobili. I never wanted to be Tony Parker. So
yeah, Tony was just very hyped by the media, and like
Avery Johnson was, I think.
Yeah, no, he was really good. He was really good. It's just there was conversations about him that were crazy, especially towards like when he got his ego and Tim started getting older. But anyway. Daryl Morey got fired in the wake of this, and Bob Myers is running the show.
And Eskin got fired too, right?
Did
Eskin also get fired?
For Eskin,
is that his name? No, who am I thinking of? Sorry, Eskin's the stupid radio guy. I don't know who I'm thinking of. Don't worry about it.
The coach?
No, because they said they're keeping Nick Nurse, right?
Yeah.
Okay. Don't worry about it.
Okay. Yeah, Daryl Morey's fired, though. But it seemed like this was going to happen. It's kind of funny, too, because I think he did, like, arguably a pretty good job of putting a team around Joel.
Okay, so I wasn't entirely confused. I think WIP did fire Howard Eskin, the radio guy. But for some, there was some. This is the problem when I don't know what's going on, and I just see people using names. They were putting it into the story because he's a Philly guy. I don't remember why, but
maybe he's a Morey guy.
Now that this is in his Wikipedia page, he does not like the WNBA.
This Howard Eskin guy?
Yeah.
Oh, there you go. That's why he got fired. So Daryl Morey. I think did a good job overall. There was just some really bad fuck ups that were sort of unredeemable. And I think it's fair that the organization wanted to move in a different direction, especially because it's probably built more around VJ and Maxey than it is Embiid moving forward. Yeah, I mean, the James Harden thing sucked. You brought James Harden in there. It was an awesome deal. You did a great job. You put this team right where it needed to be. You had Maxey. You got so lucky with that. And then you just chose not to pay James Harden. And then he just like...
Pay James Harden either.
But even right now, the Cavs are about to make the Eastern Conference Finals because of James Harden.
Yeah.
You know? And it's just one of those things where Harden, whether you the clutch thing or not, party or whatever.
I haven't watched him maybe he's changed the way he handles some of himself this year. Maybe he's a different guy this year. I don't know.
You've probably not watched James Harden in enough time where James Harden has also come down from being the center of all offensive statistics.
Yeah.
he is a more traditional point guard in this sense in his older age, and he's actually been better for it, and he's been a better defender for it. It's been awesome to watch James Harden. It's actually probably working more towards the theory that the Rockets were over relying on him than he chose to play that way. But he's been awesome. He was awesome for Philly, and unfortunately, they didn't want to pay him. They thought that maybe his career wouldn't go on much longer, and they're definitely looking stupid now because I mean he's not been bad. I understand he's forced his way around now, but like he has not been bad. He's been playing really well. I got to see him live this year for the first time in my life, probably the only time. It was incredible to watch it live. Like he just has command of an offense in a way that is just so second nature and so incredible, so effortless. But either way, you know, he chose to play chicken with James Harden, and then James Harden blew his franchise up, more or less. You know, I mean, eventually they got Paul George to replace it, kind of vicariously through that James Harden trade, but it like wasted a year of Joel's career that you didn't have. I mean, you just really put yourself in a tough position. So, but well, the picture everyone's been talking about is the elbow because you know your guy throwing elbows. But Sixers are gone. Daryl Morey's gone. Allegedly, Bob Myers is not running the Sixers. He's just running the search for the next people who are going to run the Sixers. But so I think a lot of people are kind of, I mean, he's part of the Commanders front office.
I've looked everywhere. I can only find one.
He's part of the, you know, he famously helped put together the Golden State Warriors franchise, dynasty for Curry. And then now he's best buds with Josh Harris, who is part Commander owner, part Sixer owner, well, majority of both, but you know what I mean.
Yeah.
And so he kind of is in the position, it feels, to just wiggle himself on in there. But we'll see how that goes. And then the Los Angeles Lakers have left us. I am sorry to tell ESPN, even though they don't realize this, actually. If you would have watched or seen some viral clips today, Luka was actually being blamed for the sweep.
I mean, if he's there, it's probably not a sweep. Not that he could be there, but it's
that's a good spin. That's a good spin. If he was playing, there's probably not a 4-game.
It might have been 5, but
yeah, the anti-Luka rhetoric has been really funny. Ric Flair has sort of been going viral for it. Funny enough, Ric Flair has just been telling anyone who will listen that he would have shot himself up with steroids and played. And
yeah,
so that's awesome.
And who wants to be Ric Flair?
No, it's incredible because I just would love to be the person who like goes up to Luka and is like, I know they don't do this, by the way, but if it would be funny to go up to Luka and be like, hey man, Ric Flair just keeps railing into you right now. And then Luka would be like, the fuck are you talking about? But anyway, the real question in Lakerland is Le Future.
What is that? And aren't we getting like crazy news about Luke? Like, isn't Luka's injury somehow just getting worse and worse every time we hear about it?
No, I think the issue with Luka's injury is that it was given a propagandist report early on.
Okay.
And it seems like Luka will not be doing it. Although it seemed like he would have played for Slovenia had he not been going through some issues. He said he's not, but he did not say because of injury. He said because it was time to spend with his kids. So, I mean, maybe those are the same. I don't truly know, but I do think that
is tough. We know that situation got real weird in the last year or so.
I believe him, and then honestly, even if he's rehabbing, he should be fine by next season when he is supposed to play basketball again. You know, if I'm a Laker fan, I'm not wanting to watch Luka Doncic play Slovenian basketball.
To me, it just meant that he's more hurt.
Yeah, I get what you mean.
If he's not soon enough for them, that means he's going through it.
The Lakers correctly set his ass down. One game they even gave him a basketball to hold, which I thought was the most incredible thing. I don't think I've ever seen
little toddler over there.
I don't think I've ever seen it a day of my life. He didn't hold it the whole game, but it did crack me up how long he was just sitting there with a basketball.
Maybe he's just on drugs. And they're like, just fucking hold this.
No. I think Luka I think he actually is struggling a lot with not being able to play basketball like that. I think
we're talking about this with Brandon Clark. Like these guys, you've been doing this this is what you do. This is who you are. And when all of a sudden you can't do that, you don't know what to do.
I don't mean to make light of this. I'm just being honest. he grew up on a yacht,
Luca?
doing well. He did actually, yes. Luca's dad was a very successful European basketball player. He grew up a very simple life. You know, his wife, estranged wife, whatever it is, they were both sort of like child stars in a weird way of Slovenia. He has had a very special life, I would say, in it. Dare I say, the injury paired to what's happening with the custody battle is like probably the hardest thing he's ever actually had to go through. You know?
Yeah.
Like, other than maybe moving to America and all the craziness that comes with that.
Say to be fair, even if you didn't have a pretty charmed life, that might still be the most difficult thing you
right. Even for anyone else. So I just think it's one of those things where this might be tough, but I would assume the Lakers are better in the future for it. And of course, that future really relies on, one, is LeBron James in the picture? And two, what does LeBron James cost to be in the picture? I think the rumors are kind of pointless to go over. There is already one that suggests he might take the vet minimum, which I thought was fun.
In Cleveland.
In LA, because I mean, if he's going to take the vet minimum, it's probably LA, right? Because it's already there, right? Like, there's no, like, he doesn't still have a house in Akron that he goes to all the time, bro.
I would just think if he was going to go take the vet minimum, he would do that. Go there, retire.
I don't think that LeBron feels like he has to do that to Cleveland.
He did go back and got him a title already.
Yeah, I think LeBron personally wants to be known as a Laker more than a Cav to some extent. And if you look at his career, it's the longest tenure.
Yeah. Well, longest single stretch tenure, right?
Should he choose to play a little, like 2 more seasons? I think Lakers are before that. If you take just his stats as a Laker, you have a borderline Hall of Fame player.
The old Tom Brady. He had a Hall of Fame career before 40 and after 40.
I mean, yeah, essentially. Not necessarily that, but about 35 and so. So the future is interesting. I think that if he takes the vet minimum by anybody, it's because he chose to Favre, you know? Like, he chose to sort of wait it out, go on his time, and then he's like...
No NBA salary, even the max, is going to make a difference in his life. So...
Well, he might argue differently on that, but I hear you on that. And I do think there's some logic to it. I also think that
he's the Lakers not playing basketball, isn't he?
Well, yeah, true. I think the Lakers will probably get a discount from him, and I do think he'll probably stay with the Lakers. But we'll see.
I don't know who put it out where they were like, months ago, LeBron was pissed because Pelinka didn't give him the game ball, and he doesn't feel like the Lakers are respecting him.
That was part of why I said I don't really want to get into the rumors, because it's the Lakers, and they've been eliminated for 3 days, and we probably already had 45 rumors.
So funny, dude.
And especially with that team, with Clutch and the Lakers, LA Braun has just been, if nothing else, a SEO success by everybody's.
Yeah, if only the Cowboys could find a player that's one of the greatest of all time to come play for them, they could experience it too.
But yeah, so the Lakers are gone, and it leaves us with 2 series left in the semifinals. One that's really, really fun. One that has gotten significantly less fun over its duration and probably comes to a close tomorrow night for sure. The other one I don't feel as confident about. The other one I'm hopeful, honestly, for 7. We'll start with that one. The Cleveland Cavaliers and the Detroit Pistons. Or as Mr. Wembanyama said during his pre-draft, Detroit.
Detroit.
Yeah, he said, when there's a clip from before he was drafted of talking about who sucked in the league, and he was like, I know who has, he's like Spurs, Detroit.
That's good.
It was awesome. But yeah, so the Pistons came out strong, defended home court like they were supposed to. Then kind of looked like they were going to assert dominance in Cleveland, only they never finished out any of those games and lost both of them.
And then Cleveland was like, oh, right, we've got more than one good player on our team.
And then, honestly, yeah, last night it became this game where, honestly, again, Detroit looked like they were going to home serve very well. Came out, punched the Cavs in the face. Cavs answer, came back in the second quarter, punched them in the face. I mean, talking about 10-point deficits at times here. And the Cavs just kept coming back. I know, but it's still like, I mean, these are serious. like
10 points doesn't feel the same as it used to.
no, it's true, but in the spirit of how you start and finish games, like it can get lost quickly.
That's true.
And so there were multiple times where the Cavs were punched in the face, frankly, and they responded over and over. And then in the third quarter, they just explode and seize control of the game, keep control of it throughout. They end up tying. There's a bit of a controversy at the end of it where there was a trip on Jared Allen that was not called, probably should have been called. At the end of the day,
Play doesn't make or break a game. So
it was also awful overtime for the Pistons. I mean, I think it went into overtime 113, and finished 117 to 113.
I need someone to get my part owner some help.
Yeah, Cade's been incredible. I think that's really the story here is Tobias Harris has done a good job in his career. Jalen Duren's getting a lot of shit.
They obviously have good players. They just need someone else who can make the shot when they need to.
Well, and they had a guy in Duren who looked like he was about to get maxed out, and now his numbers have almost fallen in half in the playoffs. And that's notable, and it just means again that what you're saying is true. Is Duren is a really good player, and they should keep him around, but he is not two.
They were in the playoffs last year, weren't they?
Yeah, that was their first trip back after being fucking awful forever.
Maybe it's just something where he'll get the experience and figure out how to not get coached out of a game or something. But
well, just the year before that, we were talking about them setting a loss record.
Right.
So the Pistons have been a very good feel-good story. The Cavs made the big trade. They've been on the precipice of being a title contender. They went all in. They have a good core. There's really nothing on paper about the Cavs that should make them struggle like they have, and yet they have. Maybe until last night.
I really want to bring back a Cavs Spurs NBA Finals, this time without LeBron.
There is an interesting argument to how well the East is going to fare in the finals, but I'm still holding out hope because I do like the upside of Cleveland and I love the upside of New York.
I know Oklahoma City's good. Obviously, they just won the title. But I don't.
Good is a fucking understatement, by the way.
I just don't think that they're just like so far and away better that it's not even a conversation that you could have that another team could win it.
I think it's closer to that than I wish it was. Frankly, I do actually. I will give, we'll talk about the next contestants and their shot, but yeah. As far as Cleveland goes, I think they have got a decent shot. They're deep. They've got real star power. They've got real size where it matters to match up against an Oklahoma City or San Antonio or New York, obviously. The Pistons have just been incredible, but it has been so much of Cade Cunningham that it couldn't possibly have kept going like this. So I hope that they extend and win in Cleveland. But frankly, if I'm looking at Cleveland to be serious, they take tomorrow night seriously and they handle business going away. I mean, it's at home. You've done a great job of stealing the momentum. At this point in the series, you have to know your matchups extremely well. Just do your job.
So there's no games tonight. They're both playing tomorrow.
Yeah, there was a reset coming no matter what, even if the other series hadn't crapped out already.
I heard you say tomorrow, and I was like, am I missing a game right now?
No, all of it's tomorrow. Yeah, they reset. Spurs got lucky on that one. To the Spurs-Wolves series. We have a stunning game one, riveting game one, really truly one of the best game ones I've seen in a while. Game one's usually boring, kind of a feel-out game, and this was a feel-out game, but this was not boring at all.
It was at least a fun feel-out game.
It was a fun feel-out game. Wolves were able to steal it. Kind of got luckier in the way that game went down, but they come away with the win. Spurs do a great job of responding 133-95 in game two. Then we go to Minnesota. Minnesota is not quick to give away anything. And Spurs end up only splitting. So then we come back to San Antonio 2-2. And, I guess game four is notable because as much of a split as it was, there was second quarter?
Second quarter.
Second quarter, Wemby gives was it
Reed.
Who?
Naz Reid.
Yeah, it was Naz Reid. Gave him a throat chop. I mean, it wasn't good. It needed the ejection.
He should, yes.
He didn't need more I thought it was good because I think that Wimby's career compares funny ways, and it's stuff you have to kind of read these books to know about what's going to be coming for Wimby, but I'm sure of it. I think that when we went from the boring Spurs, it was very obvious that this was just a basketball machine, similar to, if you know soccer, it was the German machine, was what how they would call it. It was a machine. I mean, Tim Duncan was the best player, but it was a machine. That's why it was so hard to stop and so good.
He also didn't like take the ball at the court. Like, it was just a different way of running a basketball offense.
Yeah. Well, it was a way that adapted basketball coaching and strategy that sort of isn't overly reliant on talent, on individual talent. So but it was putting it in a league with obviously a lot of talent.
You have that talent, really good.
So that's what it was. And now I think the Wimby Spurs, I think y'all are villains, and I think that's kind of good.
They could be. Wolves fans definitely think of us that way. I think the Thunder already kind of took that role.
Well, they're so good that they are natural villains,
and they got FTA, and
yeah. No, they've got and people don't really love Chet's whole stick. I agree with that.
I'm told he should be nominated for an Oscar.
I've been told that he should be honored for an NAACP award. So Spurs are really good. I just think it's fun that Victor maybe leans into him being a little bit of a bastard on the court.
He's not going to put up with your shit, and I like that.
And I think that's good, because I think naturally, and what I meant by bringing up the books is Wilt was ostracized and hated. Kareem was ostracized and hated. There is undoubtedly, probably Shaq too, to some extent, he was a more lovable character in the mainstream. So I think I
think the teammates felt the same way.
Well, the teammates, I just mean general public. I mean, people buying tickets. The NBA sold tickets kind of in part, in a lot of ways, especially during Wilt's time, so that people could root against the giant guy.
Yeah.
And I think there's an interesting part of Wimby that is going to be a natural villain because he's
a bunch of short kings watch basketball.
Yeah, basically. I mean, but not even just the ones that watch basketball.
And good.
I just think even just very casual audiences will look at this and be like, they'll be awestruck by him, but then they'll sort of like, oh, that's not fair, and then there's this whole funny thing that comes out of it.
I mean, alien can mean a lot of things, and he is alien in every sense of the word.
And he's very unique as far as his personality. He definitely falls way more in the Kareem bucket than anything else from that.
So what was interesting to me when he gets ejected is it was just like when he got hurt against Portland. It was like, here's a game for the rest of the team to step up and do it. And for the most part, they did until the very end. And so that's a little unfortunate. Obviously, you've talked about ad nauseum how they're ahead of schedule already. Obviously, it looks like Harper and Castle could also be pretty special.
They have good and bad moments in these series.
But Fox is really the big question mark for, I think, is he still going to be part of this team in the future after this contract? And those 2 games, he had a huge opportunity to be like, hey, I can do this when you need me. And he didn't quite do it.
No, I mean, and this has kind of been where Fox's journey is taken the Sacramento Kings when he was a part of it. It wasn't just his fault. I think Sabonis was also sort of a similar player stuck in the same tier level where they're like,
you're like, okay, we'll take him, and instead of him being the have to guy, he'll be the when we need you guy, and that should help. But it doesn't seem to have helped.
Well, it's just because, I think for De'Aaron, it's a different version of basketball here. I think he sets the table. I think he's understood having primary responsibility more than shared responsibility. So I'm sure he probably enjoys it, but I wouldn't be surprised if a lot of these guys do find it very difficult to mesh into the San Antonio way, because it's just unique.
He's giving the opportunity to be the guy. He's not doing that.
Yeah, but I still don't think I think that there's a fit in or fit out. It's not just as simple as, oh, I'm on the Kings now. Wemby's not here. It's the Kings now. It's still the Spurs. They still run a specific way. You still have to do it the way they do it, not the way De'Aaron Fox did it. And I think that's why a lot of star players don't love San Antonio. Probably a small portion of why Kawhi Leonard didn't ultimately want to marry the Spurs long term is that I think that they, while being a great organization and a great institution of basketball, I have always even criticized how far they're willing to take away from the individualism of basketball, because I do think the star players sort of shine the most with individualism. And that sort of is the ultimate thing that takes mediocre Cavs teams over the top, or Pistons teams, or whatever you want. And so it's a fine line to walk. And I think the Spurs are going to have to walk it more than they ever have with Wemby. And maybe that helps Fox.
I feel like he's free. I feel like they pretty much let Wemby just do whatever he wants, but he's proven that he's responsible and can handle those things.
It's still going to be within what they're doing. It's not like if Wemby would have went to another team that basically would have really been like, whatever you want, Victor. So it's just one of those things where I do think the Spurs are ahead of schedule. I still think that there's no reason to think they can't win the championship, though. It's just very odd because
no, I wouldn't put us as the favorites, but I'm confident just watching them play. I'm so confident every night because.
Well, if it makes you feel any better, it's less about what the Spurs are doing and more about the reality of how fucking good Oklahoma City is.
That's true. They've got almost 12 straight guys who can play night in, night out.
They might have a fourth guy that's like a legit star, and he was drafted in the second round. They haven't even played Jalen Williams throughout this.
Which one?
The one that's an all-star.
It's just funny they have two.
It's just I just don't know what to say. Like, we made jokes about the competitive sweep, and we've watched them actually competitively sweep two decent teams, hurt, flawed, but not bad teams. Like, not teams that necessarily would have been swept by just anyone.
Not to just be an ESPN clone, but I do feel like we should mention that through at least, I would say, 2, if not 3 or 4 of those games, the best player on the court was still LeBron James, which is wild that he can. Obviously, it looked a lot like LeBron in Cleveland, like the first time.
Yeah, except for there's only so much the man can do physically still. Like that back then, he, like Cade, could sort of lift this ungodly load, but now
he doesn't have a big Z anymore. But
yeah, now it's a little bit different. It's a little bit different.
I thought it was worth mentioning that he still somehow looked like the best player in the world for some of those games.
I mean, the Rockets series just was so funny to see him just be like, all right, I guess it's just that time. You know what I mean? Like, I guess we're doing this. And I think that it does lend some logic to the fact that, yeah, if the Lakers would have been fully healthy this playoff, I don't know that they actually beat Oklahoma City.
It would have been more fun.
But yeah, I mean, I think that they would have been a sparring partner for the Thunder that maybe even been necessary for them to beat San Antonio if they don't end up doing that. So we'll see.
It's tough to have all that time off. I don't know if that helps you in basketball.
I think usually I would say no, but I would say for these guys, it's kind of just.
I think that only matters. It also only matters in game one, because then when you're back in it, you're back in it. So.
Yeah, and again, I think that business as usual for Oklahoma. Like this is machinery too. It's a little nefarious, but it's machinery. Very well-oiled team.
But I am confident that the Spurs will. I think they're going to win Game 6, but I'm more. They will win one of the next 2, more likely than Minnesota will win 2 of the 2.
I would lean 75% that both series end tomorrow night, and that's mostly 25% doubting Cleveland.
Well, I think the math always proves that out in a tie series at 2. Whoever wins 5 more often wins 6. Also,
yeah. I just think for Minnesota, the tires are a little flat.
I mean, yeah, I'm just trying to look here. So the 2 games that they've won the 2 games the Timberwolves have won have been by a combined 7 points, whereas the Spurs have beaten them by 40. And
well, we also saw a strategic change that I think probably ended the series with Rudy Gobert more or less being played off the court.
Yeah, and hilarious because obviously him and Wemby are got to be pretty close.
Well, I mean, I would argue he was a huge part of them stealing Game 1. But it's that quick in a series where you can go from being the hero to the zero,
I'm just looking at, we're averaging 117 points a game. They're averaging under 104. What's crazy to me is they're still a really good rebounding team, but I guess a lot of that is Gobert, huh?
And Nas and McDaniel Ant's a good rebounder for a guard. They have a lot of athleticism, a lot of pogo stick ass players.
I do want to say, obviously, you can't be too worried about what people on the internet are saying, but when people were trying to compare the Wemby elbow to the Ron Artest elbow, there's a very, very different situations. One guy's getting mauled by two people. The other guy's literally doesn't have a ball in his hand, just scored and hits someone who's not even looking.
I only compared it because it's fucking hilarious. And when I see anybody, when there's ever elbow gate, my brain will always instantly go to Ron Artest.
And that is, Wemby, you're too tall to be
actually. You need to wait. Was he Artesta? I think he was world peace when he did that. Yeah, he was world peace already. That's what made that better.
But it's just more confusing if I say Meta World Peace. I know you know, but anyone watching might not remember that is a human being's name. So
I love Ron Artest, man. That was one of my favorite players growing up. Like I could not get enough of Ron Artest.
And incredibly talented.
When I was a little kid, I wanted the 2005 Pacers to win 72 games and the championship.
But because they didn't, the Mavericks got to win a title in 2011. So
yeah, there was a lot of fallout because of that for sure. But
it's crazy that Carlisle couldn't get anything done with Indiana. They were so good.
Well, and he was also Detroit's guy before Detroit.
They grabbed Larry Brown.
Got to Larry Brown, and they took off. So and Flip Saunders ends up taking that job over too. But either way, most likely looking at Spurs, Thunder, Cavs, Knicks going into the next round. But we will see.
I think that's awesome. I think those are great teams. I bet the NBA doesn't love Spurs Thunder, but they're happy about the stars on the Spurs and the Thunder.
Well, if they weren't happy about the Oklahoma City Thunder and the San Antonio Spurs being good, then they shouldn't have been laying the groundwork, because like Spurs have been doing an amazing job in the draft lottery. You know what I mean? Like they've had some of the luckiest balls bouncing.
We don't need to win one for a while now, right?
In history. And then what's it called? The Thunder. I mean, I don't know how you stop Sam Presti.
Yeah, that's you have to get the other owners. You have to collude.
No, I've been telling people this in group chats. Like, I need Pablo investigating collusion this time next year. Like I need this. I need this.
Presti. It's too late now. He's already got it.
This off season, every one of their free agents needs to be poached. Every single one of them. I don't care what it costs the Wizards.
Yeah, can the Spurs give some extra cap space? Can they give some of their cap space to another team to go sign one?
Exactly. They just overpay Lou Dort to sit him on the bench or something.
Yeah. Right down to G League.
Oh, no.
That's early 1900s baseball stuff right there.
Exactly. So, yeah, we'll see. Tomorrow night will be fun. I do like that they stacked up the games tomorrow. Makes it a little more fun. It's both game 6, both elimination games.
Yeah, but I'd be able to pay more attention to both of them if, I don't know, there's 2 back-to-back. It's 6 hours, maybe 8 hours spending.
I think that it's a depending on appetite thing. You're going to show up for one game. You're probably going to show up for the end of the other. That's probably fair.
I'll probably at the end of the other because it always takes way longer. Do you think it will?
I think for basketball fans, this is a great 2 games right here. This is kind of what you want. This is the time of the season.
It's also weird because it's Friday.
Oh, what else you got to do? This is what you do. You're watching the game. If you're at a bar, you're socializing. The bitch is on. That's how it works.
Eastside is great for sports now. The giant outdoor screen.
I miss Eastside, honestly. If I ever go back to Denton, Eastside's the first place I'm going.
Oh, it's a great place. Yeah.
But I think that's it. I think we have a musical guest to wrap us up. But other than that,
before that, I will just do a brief little promo for anyone who will be in Denton, Texas this weekend. Fish Boys' annual holiday Waitsgiving will be celebrated. There's going to be a time capsule burial, a tour of downtown Denton, and amongst other fun things. And I think kazoos will be available. Which
kazoos need to be.
I got to get my. He was asking people to send him audio samples for him to play through his sampler, so I got to get that turned in.
Nice. I hope you find some of the most ridiculous niche shit you can.
I've already figured out what I'm doing. I actually have to put it together.
I believe it.
Anyway, I just want to, for anyone watching who happens to be watching this and happens to come across Denton, Texas this weekend, come check it out. It's free. It's fun.
Just
Family.
Instead of a normal title, just Denton, Texas is the title of the video.
Yeah, we could. I
Just
could.
Past the Denton, Texas.
Pass the Denton on your. I don't know. All right. Well, I guess with that, we should have C's back next week. I think we'll be back to our regularly scheduled programming. But
with our musical guest.
There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this house. There's some whores in this